I try to have patience, which has been a
Test.
for my whole life. Yes. So to be now surrounded visually by this crazy ass mindset, where before we knew it was there, but they kind of just fucking meandered by, and now you can see them all because they're all labeled with their masks and their, I try to realize that more people are waking up, because if this didn't happen, it wouldn't be exposed and people wouldn't start seeing some things. And I get happy about that. But then I look around at the people, I don't necessarily mean in my neighborhood. I mean just in the world, out and about in the stores, mindset of a lot of my own, family members, my extended family, and I get like, it makes me mad. I mean, I'm just being honest, because it's so easy to understand this,
Yeah. No, 100%. And like my coworker Gina, she's like fed up with all, like she's like,
Yeah.
I can tell her patience is like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing that.
and like, yeah, because it's just like, this is because basically she was ranting when I was texting her about the couple and shit. It's like, this is bullshit, blah blah. It's like,
Yeah, because it's been a month, and there isn't bodies with flies buzzing all over the fucking neighborhoods.
Exactly.
And people, realize that, wait a minute, I've seen the fucking movie Outbreak. This isn't how it's supposed to be. What the hell's going on here? And it's starting to happen, because I mean, even my daughter's friends, father's starting to, she was telling me that. And even some of her friends that have been kind of worried about this are starting to go, what the fuck? This is stupid. So, like, that's the rebellious attitude I want back. Because I know if I was a teenager, just my whole mindset of rebellion as a kid to begin with, and my music and my weed smoking and all that shit, I'd be out my friends going. I mean, even tonight, I'm having a buddy over. Like, I'm just.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Like one, actually, two of my coworkers, they do smoke weed, so
yeah.
I know what the smell of it is.
Yes, it's a lovely smell. My wife hates it. My wife can't stand it.
It's okay. I can smell it, but it doesn't really turn me off.
My wife can't stand it. She's like, smells like shit, But hey, look,
smells better than beer.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
Because I'm more of a social drinker. If I'm going to consume alcohol, I like to go out with my friends in my location. I have 3 or 4 over or whatever hours, and I do it once a month, once every 6 weeks. Like, yeah. I don't like to. When I was a cop, I drank all the time, and I didn't like it. I can tell you that. Because it's all, you can do. So, I work midnights, get home, and we're knocking on the fucking bar door at 9 o'clock in the morning going, it's our 4 o'clock. It's our happy hour, because we just worked all night for 8, 9 hours. But man, it just, if I even thought about doing something like that now, I would last 2 days and I would be laying in the street somewhere, because I never enjoyed it, I don't know.
That's okay.
But I like the atmosphere, and I miss my bar and my, my crowd, my family, I miss it. And I'm sure other people out there are feeling the same way, because, people go out to dinner, they go to shows, they go to movies, they go to concerts, they go to games. People do things together, and, we are all in this together, but not sitting the fuck home alone.
Yeah, and there's amen. So and I love how gay you snort. That's awesome.
I'm snorting, baby.
You are. But
I'll throw a George Costanza baby in there. I'm snorting, baby.
Good old voice of Abismal from that Latin cartoon. But anyways. But in all seriousness, though, I've read that the whole 6 feet distance is to help the AI do weird shit, like catalog shit. So I haven't really read that much into it, but I think maybe Sarah mentioned that before.
Yeah, I mean, everything has multiple purpose, I mean, and of course, what does it do right in front of us is it gets people, like I would walk into my convenience store and be in 15 conversations with all the people that I know from going in there for 20 fucking years. And now nobody's fucking talking to each other. Everybody's kind of standing all apart. People are all afraid to come near each other. It does so many things on so many levels. Like, even if you are home and you do put on this stupid TV, which granted, I do once a week for an hour, for Survivor.
Yeah.
But when there's nothing to do and people are like, I don't know, you put on a movie on regular TV. All of these commercials are so over the top and stupid. And the show you're watching is all about people having human interactions and experience and hugging and kissing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so opposite of, like, you're supposed to experience this through a fucking TV. I just, it goes against the fundamentals of who we are as people. I'm a huggy, kissy guy,
Oh, that's good. I'm a huggy girl, so I love to hug people. So
look, and I say that. Yes, well, look, I say that with all sincerity because I've lost a lot of people in my life, and we've kind of as a group realized you never know. So we went from handshakes to hugs. You know what I mean? And I'm Italian anyway, so it's it just comes along with it too.
I'm mostly I have some Irish, some Turkey, but mostly German in me.
Yeah. No, I'm a split too. Irish, Italian, a little Native American, little Chickasaw. But it's just I don't know. It's the way people behave. It's just this separation thing, and like I said, I'm a conversator. And I've been having conversations. Telling people my point of view. I've pissed people off at the convenience store when I didn't wear a mask for the first 2 days. You know what I mean? And then now I've compromised and I wear my fucking Survivor buff for the only 3 minutes that I go in there to get my cigarettes and get the hell out, because you can't even do it at the gas stations. You know what I mean? It's everywhere. So I was saying, it's so dumb though. I was saying today, you look around and it looks like the place is full of fucking mass marauders getting ready to fucking hold the joint up. It's so crazy that people have accepted this. Because, people aren't just wearing hospital masks. They're wearing skull fucking faces and sunglasses. And, it looks like people are getting ready to, if you saw that coming in.
They're wearing sunglasses, too?
Oh, yeah. People covering their whole fucking face. And, you know what I mean? They look like Chevy Chase in The Invisible Man. Did you ever see that movie? Wearing all this shit. It's crazy to see that people now find that acceptable to walk in and out of a store. And where 6 weeks ago, if you walked in a ski mask and a fucking sunglasses, you get the cops called on you. You think you're gonna rob the fucking place,
Yeah, and with the whole I don't think, obviously it's not ending in general, but
no.
What I mean is I think that they're gonna try to bring something bring more virulent, supposedly more virulent strain out and say, oh, we need to do this more hardcore, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking in general. I mean, I've read about it too in general.
Sure.
So it's not my unique idea.
No, but it's your guts telling you what, and look, they're the way they do things, especially, I think, in other countries particularly, you can see where, not that it isn't here in certain areas, but you can see where it's being a little more in your face with, cops pulling people over. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm thinking. The UK, exactly.
Jeez Louise.
You do that here to an armed population, it might not go your way. You know what I mean? So they have to kind of slowly condition. I think they're going to ease up a little bit, but they're going to keep the social distancing, and for us, these fucking masks, and and then. Like you said, the cops really aren't anywhere. They're probably handling domestics out the wazoo because people can't live together to save their fucking lives. They can't tolerate each other. It's crazy. And I'm not saying there isn't legitimate domestics where, people get hurt and but most of it is just nonsensical fucking bickering. You know what I mean? It's most of it. And, people get on each other's nerves, and, trust me, I've been on 1,000 of them, and probably 10 of them were extremely important where the person needed help, The rest of them were just, I can't manage my relationship. Please do it for me. He did this, she did that, and you're like, what? What the fuck? Can't you guys be quiet? Talk about it? But, I just think that, now the next time if they ease up a little bit and they pretend to curb the fucking thing.
Mhm.
Oh, well, why did it work? Oh, the lockdown's what stopped it from spreading. So when they hit us again, like you said, with,
Mm.
and I say propaganda because I don't see them releasing shit. I don't see, these people control things right down to the football games. I don't see them risking, infecting their militaries or their, you know what I mean? I'm not saying they won't do it, but for these purposes, I see them just with the propaganda, and then boom, the lockdown won't be so uh, light. It won't be locked. It won't
Nice.
be lockdown light. Exactly. It'll be So I think this is I don't want to say a test run because it's not going to stop. I just think it's the first visual thing that every living being on the planet, except for the free animals and birds who are freer than us now, um,
Yeah.
can see with their own eyes now for the first time. Either you're denying this or you see it.
Mhm.
There's no in
Yes.
between. In my opinion.
No, you're right. Exactly. And it's like because maybe like they would stop for like a bit, but then like say like back in the fall, they would bring it back again.
Yeah,
That's
I agree.
and then like for example, like say that there's more protests or whatever, like say like Michigan or whatever, and then like then they would know who would be attending them, and then they like back down because of the force of the people,
Hmm.
and then
No, you're
and
right.
then and then and then like in fall or whatever, then like they'd ramp up, a more fall strain of coronavirus or whatever would pop up,
Hmm.
and it's like, oh my god, we need no one's allowed anywhere,
Yeah,
so
yeah. And then they turn, us against each other with that because all people have to they'll rat on each other. They, you know, uh, start with
yeah.
the finger pointing and the this guy's out without a she's didn't get her, those kind of things. Um, Especially if it happens again, because people will be annoyed. I mean, I've seen people say in some of the um, I don't know, younger crowds, because like I said, I have teenage kids,
Yeah.
and they've shown me like I wish these people would stay home. They're ruining my senior year. Like they actually think that because people are going out, that this is going on longer. They can't
Y-
realize this is
y-
fucking, you know what I mean, planned.
actually, guys in their 30s
Yeah.
have been saying that, so it's not a young thing.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Because
I agree.
because one of my classmates, he said the same thing
Hmm.
on Facebook, and I've obviously I didn't say anything back, but it's like, no, that's not how it's going,
Yeah.
dude.
Like, I mean,
No.
I'm sorry, and this is going to sound horrible, but to be that stupid,
Mhm.
I'm so, I feel sorry for their soul because boy, do they
Yeah.
have a journey ahead of them. Because
Well, yeah.
if we can't learn from this, that we have no fucking right to push ourselves and to force things onto others,
Mhm.
because that's the main thing for me. Like my line's been drawn a long time ago, but if you're going to come to a physical, actual, you know, assault upon my person with a vaccine, that's where the line, it's more than
Mhm.
there's no more talk. It ain't happening. Uh,
Yeah.
if you know what I'm saying, it ain't happening.
Yeah, oh, no, 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 exactly, exactly, and I was just thinking about that other scenario that people have been talking about, like, how they're demonizing, like, Gates, obviously they're setting him up for, like, you think they're setting him up to be the fall guy? The scapegoat, and then they're gonna, like, like, saying, like, and have someone else be the savior of something.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's
So
such a show. It's also, and it's a dumb show. It's not even well written. You know what
exactly.
I mean? Like it's.
Well, that's the counter mimicry. I mean, they can't
Hmm.
even, like, fucking create stuff.
You're right. You're right.
To
Which
save their fucking lives.
that's why it's so easy to figure out once you see a little bit of how they've done this over and over and over. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and so my plea is to people because look, if people don't individually wake up, there's not going to change here. People don't get that there is a collective consequence for behavior as long as an individual one. I know you get that, but people don't.
Yeah.
And whether or not you're awake, to the point where, you think Trump's being lied to, or you think Jesus is coming, or there's a political answer, or the reset banking, whatever it is that's keeping people in a stand down, not speaking out mode, that's what's going to hurt the most, because I think more people see this than not. I just think people aren't opening their mouths, and you don't have to go running up and down the street, light yourself on fire with a picket sign. You just can speak, get on YouTube, get on a social platform, speak, live this way, be this way in the world, go the fuck out, I mean, I'm not saying,
Right.
you know what I mean? We need Mad Max out there, in fact, that would be, counterproductive, because that's when the agent provocateurs steer that narrative,
Exactly. And
Oh man, it's fucking Twilight Zone, isn't it, Lisa? It really is.
It is.
It really is. I hope it's got a good ending, because so far I don't like where it's going.
Well, and you're doing. I mean, like, I like between like work and like when I come home, I'm not always like I don't always like to like veg out for the computer, so I don't always like get to listen to your videos until like the weekend and stuff. So
Yeah, because you can't. You come home and put your head. Like, I do the same thing. I block off. Like, you'll notice even with my phone, I don't. I keep it away from me. I only check it at certain points. I only take it with me when I go to make that video, because my other camera that I would have is just so awkward, and it wouldn't work properly unless someone was with me. But you need that break, because like that's why I'll like I said, I like my show. You like, your shows.
yeah.
You need to just, and there's nothing wrong with it. What the problem is when people become obsessed with it, it becomes their life. They think about nothing more and, nothing important. But it's okay to veg out, because we have to. You got to turn those stress hormones off. And, you need to know yourself how to do that for yourself, So, I too
Exactly.
I can't sit with all the stuff. I look for a couple hours in the morning, then I get to go do my shit the rest of the day. And, in the evening, I'll look. It depends. If certain people go live, I'll put them on, But other than that, I'm done till the morning. I'm the kids are here, and you know what I mean. Like I'm.
Yeah, they're obviously more important. A lot more important.
Yeah. Well, they're not always looking to hang out with me either. So, you know what I mean? Like I know my daughter's driving, so she gets to come and go, and none of her friends really will come out, but some of them do. But my son's the one that's stuck. None of his friends are allowed out, and he's the one that misses. The sports, even school, the recess yard, any of it, just human interaction with his friends, and I'd let him hang out with anybody he wants to, but none of his friends' parents will allow it. And that's sad to me, It's been 5 fucking weeks, man,
Fucking cowards. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree. I just, I spend.
Like, oh no, you can't even spend time with a face mask on. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Or gloves. Oh my god.
The holiday was similar, I mean, family did it, family didn't want to get together over the holiday. That was kind of like, wow, this shit can come between family. And I don't judge them. They're scared.
Oh, during like Easter and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to do this stupid Zoom Easter that I make fun of on the commercials and in my videos, and there I am doing it, talk about contradicting, but I want to see my family, you know what I mean? And they're not getting together.
Yeah.
And
that's what my family did too, but I didn't want to be with humans.
Yeah,
I didn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, look, the kids want to see their Nana, Papa, and aunts and uncles and cousins. So, I mean, but believe me, my interaction was minimal, especially when the conversation took a turn towards just lunacy of what they think is going on here. And,
it makes you want to blow your brains out, even though you're not going to. But
yeah, well, but it makes me want to speak, and I'm not looking to scream at my entire family on the Easter holiday over a Zoom broadcast. You know what I mean? So I have to remain calm, and like my patience was really. But I did look. I spoke it. After people said certain things, I would throw in my little comments. Like, it sounds pretty tyrannical to me. Like I was planting my seeds, but I'm not trying to upset everybody, and I walked away when I needed to. But it saddens me more, because I want them to understand, for their own sake, I mean.
Yeah, they're your family.
Yeah, like, it's disappointing, I mean, like I said, it's one thing 5 years ago if you don't want to sit and, learn I don't know, controversial things that throughout history that you're trying to share conspiratorially, but in their eyes. But this is different, man. I mean, your freedoms are being taken. There's videos of pastors having police tell them your freedoms are suspended. The pastor's like, you don't have the right to suspend my freedoms. My rights are God-given. And well, the Constitution is on suspended. These are cops saying this to people. Like it's happening. And if it happens, in places, keep ignoring it. It's going to be everywhere. And if people can't see that yet, that these cops need to be the ones too to go, I'm not fucking doing that. I know it's happening in places. I've seen some places where supposedly sheriffs and things are not enforcing this lockdown anymore. And I hope that movement grows because,
Yeah.
that kind of non-compliance is what we need, man.
Agreed.
I mean,
Yeah.
that would be incredible, but what a happy ending that would be. If all
It would be. No, it
that would be cool.
It would be.
That would be cool.
It would be.
That would be the greatest story ever told, I think. That would be a good ending for it, but I don't know. Like I said, like I tell everyone, what will be will be. I'm not as much as I can try to control, because I know in ways anger can derive from fear. You need the courage aspect in between and then the righteous action. But, you can also take that anger to a point where, it's a bad place for you, and that's something I kind of can go back and forth, because I do find myself getting annoyed when I should just be, all right, fuck it, let me concentrate on A instead of B. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's hard because I know, like, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Because, like, even though, like, actually, I'm all good with that gal I was venting about earlier on Twitter. So, like,
right, yeah.
So we actually was like, yes. So, like,
right,
that was a good ending. That was a good ending. Like,
because you wouldn't carry grudges anyway. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but it's good because, like, she says, like, because she's worried about because I was tweeting about the fake ass Christians and stuff, and
oh, I saw it. I saw what you wrote.
yeah, and turns out she is where she's like at least she's knows about the whole, and I was able to suggest the whole not as image book. So
good.
To her, so yay.
Good. See, I don't know, man. People like that, I don't give up on them either, because they do understand a whole lot of it. They just externalize it, and once you realize that the person you're externalizing it to was teaching these things to us, as opposed to having to explain it, from a, like you said, you can explain the same thing through the Freemasonic traditions that are true and right and moral, but it's a lot harder. You know what I mean? But it's the same concept, about natural law, and I think the people that already have that can see it, a little bit quicker when you just talk about embodying the principles and, realizing that the story's been told over and over again in many various ways. And like once you see it, it's, you've been through it. It's an aha moment, you're like, whoa, this all fucking connects. I get it. You know what I mean? Wait, hold on. Yay, celebrate,
Oh, that's something to celebrate. That's right.
Yeah. I remember when it clicked for me. I just went, wow. And it was after various aspects of me thinking I understood. And what I learned from that is there's always more, you're never all the way there. So,
that's fine with me. I mean, I just, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we can't know all their little details, and we're not sitting in the rooms with them, but we can see the big picture. And once you know where they're going and you see that big picture, none of this works on you. That's just what I've always said. Once you realize how they're manipulating you, it doesn't fucking work anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it was because when you're talking about, I was thinking about like, like how you read and how you like connect more stuff, as you do more research and everything. And I was like reading more about like, the more Morgellons and, like the whole like how it ties in with the, like what
chemtrails.
Yeah, everything. So
yeah.
So I was like, yeah, and then it was like I was making connections with, You know, it's kind of interesting because like one website they said like the archons they have spiders with human heads. I don't know how correct that is, but it's kind of interesting because in Inuyasha, like I think one of the early villains are like it was spiders with human heads. So um
Yeah, well,
yeah, and the main villain, it's his in Japanese, it's Oniguma, which means like basically demon spider. So
mhm.
so
Oh, the spider's used
so yeah.
symbolically in many, many ways of describing this force, you know. So you're
Yeah,
right.
and
You're right.
and even like in native cultures, you know, like the spider's usually known as a trickster.
Hmm.
So I mean,
It freaked
because
little Miss Muffet out, remember?
what do you think about her?
I'm just kidding.
Forget about her tuffet eating a
Yes,
Curzon way.
thing sat down beside her and she freaked the fuck out.
Must have been.
Well, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
that force in general, though, you know, I just, if they, I mean, clearly they own the minds of many, but people have to choose it themselves. Like, that's the thing that's where I do hold hope, because I don't think we're going to do it, but I know that we can do it. I know that it is possible. Like, you know what I mean? I know what we have to do it, and I know that it can be done. I don't know that it will be done, but I just know that it can be done. So, you know, until I'm not breathing anymore, I'm going to continue to hope that it happens while I'm here. But in reality, we could set the precedence for something that happens 20 years from now, from generations that witness, I don't know, maybe something horrific that we need to go through. Like, I'm not trying to, you know, get it all done in my lifetime. I just want to do what I know to be right all the time, no matter fucking what. Whatever the consequences are, this is fucking dumb, and I'm sorry. You know, I just feel that if we can pass that sense of rebellion on, and encourage it in others just by our own actions, you know, maybe it'll grow. You know, maybe it'll take 15 years of hell and we'll all be dead, but maybe those generations that come up will be like, remember those motherfuckers? You know, I mean, who knows? You know what I mean? Anything can happen. So, like I said, I always remain hopeful, but I don't know, man. You know, it is a walking zombified world out there in many aspects, you know, but it's waking up. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I just share what I can, and
Yeah.
and you know that's all we can do. I
Right.
just
Yeah, we're not
it's like,
all
you know, I share this, and you know I retweet whatever like pops up. Well, that catches my eye. It's like, you know, then people can, you know, do their own stuff, you know.
exactly. Well, those seeds are how it's going to spread, because you know we all can't save the whole world here, you know, on our own. Like we can only
You
do what we
can't?
can.
What?
That's what I mean. Like, believe me, I took that on in my life for a
What?
long time. I've always been trying to save the world. I finally realized I can't do it by myself. You know, after getting beat up in life over it. But you know, it's something that just by our behavior and our actions and our words and the way we live in the world, you know, if it catches on, the same way the negative programming has caught on, that's what we're here to do. You know, I mean, you know, I think when I'm making my videos and stuff, like I'm not a fucking presenter. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm none of those things. I'm just a dude trying to talk because this is insane, you know? And that's so sometimes when I watch myself back, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't make any fucking sense. You know
No,
what I
no,
mean?
no.
I'm like, oh
Well,
Christ. But I don't
okay,
give a fuck. You know what I mean? I don't care, because I can't sit and script and I've tried to do things. I'm more of a generic, you know, off the cuff, real person that just speaks his mind. If I try to do it any other way, it doesn't work. You know, for me, you know, put it that way. I'm just a genuine person. I speak my mind. Sometimes I'm happy. Sometimes I'm pissed. Sometimes I'm annoyed. Sometimes I'm philosophical. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. I'm not saying I can't do it. I was in the midst of trying to do it, but then all of this happened, and I'm like, well, you know, I just need to get my voice out there. That's all I need to do right now.
Mhm, mhm.
Some ones will be better than others. Sometimes I get there and I got this whole fucking thing I want to say, and then I forget all about it. Sometimes after my video, I'll start walking and I'll start thinking of things, and I'll have this perfectly succinct thing in my mind. I'm like, why the fuck couldn't I say it that way? It's just it happens. But I don't sit and critique it and try to, because it's not about subscribers and likes and any of that stuff. I just want people to realize you can have the courage to do this. Just realize this is wrong and just speak your mind. That's all I'm asking people to do,
Mhm.
and trying to set that example. Believe me, I'm far from perfect. I'm asinine in many ways. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
you are. No, just kidding.
But I'm proud of it. I mean, we're all unique in that way, and you know, I think if we all kind of lightened up a little bit, you know, then we wouldn't get so freaked the fuck out over some clearly nothing but a flu that we have every year that's being, used to do something else. And we can all speculate as to what that is. And it's pretty clear what that is, but, it's not what they say it is. That should be enough for people to go, wait a fucking minute here. That's all I'm asking.
Mhm. Exactly, and and to be honest, you're honestly not that bad, Tom, okay?
Oh,
So
thank
don't
you.
worry.
Thank you.
I'm not just saying it just to, be nice.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, look, I went from, I had 4 fucking subscribers. All of a sudden, I'm almost at 100. So I'm saying something right, So at least some people are, at least subscribing enough. And I can see my view times. People aren't clicking off in 2 seconds. They're watching most of it. So, you know, why? What are you laughing at? What
I
did I
love he's
say?
like, no, they're so turned off by you. He was like, "Oh my gosh, who the heck is he? I'm getting out of here right away."
Oh, that's what I picture going on immediately. Like I only
Come
learned to look
on.
at the analytics recently when I started getting subscribers, because I never thought for a second, that people would. But once in a while, I mean, I know I can get the point across because I've been teaching it to children for a long, long time, including my own. But I mean, for a living, and those
Yeah.
kids still call me for a reason. So I know that I can do it. It's just sometimes, you know, you go to talk, and like I'm walking around the woods and somebody walks by me and I lose my fucking train of thought completely. I'm like, blanked out in a spelling bee in the 2nd grade. I'm like, I can't spell the word the, like, fucking Peter Brady music, wah, 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 playing in the background, like, and I'm like, fuck. But I would start to kind of stop them and then make them again. And then I'm like, well, then I just lost all this other genuine stuff I said. So I kind of stopped doing that, I'm just making mistakes and all, whatever happens, happens. Because, I don't know. To me, my line's been drawn a long time ago with free speech. I've been censored for a long time. I've been, penalized, career-wise for my mouth, to the point where, my job was taken. And, I'm tired of not being allowed to fucking speak my mind. It's bullshit, So, to me, I just do it. And if it helps people, who get this already kind of feel like they're not alone, that's great. And if it helps people kind of realize they're being duped, that's great. If it pisses people off because I'm talking about them and they realize it and they give me thumbs down and hate me, I'm sorry, but maybe that seed will help something that sparks later in your life. And I had something to do with it and didn't even know it, So,
Mhm.
uh,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly. No, I get it, 'cause yeah, I get what you're saying, 'cause, I don't even know, I mean, how many hours I put into, Twitter and stuff. It's like, and I don't know, 'cause my ex-husband, he says, "You're just wasting your time." It's like, and I rebelled against him saying that. It's like, "No, I don't believe that," you know?
I don't believe you're
It's
wasting your
like,
time either.
seriously.
No, I look. I mean,
That's why he's my ex.
yeah, right. There you go.
And that's why you have to marry me, Tom.
Oh
Just
well,
kidding, just
I have a
kidding.
current. I don't know
I know, I'm
if
joking, I'm
that's
joking.
legal in the country. I'm sure she'd be all right with it. She's a fun gal. I'm just kidding. I'm
I'm
kidding.
joking. I know, I'm
So am
joking.
I.
I'm joking.
um,
But in all seriousness, no, it's yeah, it's like, no, it's because I just don't know. I've been doing it since 2009. So
yeah, you've been doing it longer
it's
than
a
me.
long time.
You have been. I wasn't even on anything in 2009. Not even thinking about any of this stuff. My kids were young, and so you have, and
Well, at the first, I was doing stuff, Glenn Beck type of way.
yeah, well, that's how I started. Alex Jones. Yeah, we all started with dumb shit. You know what I mean? But without it, we wouldn't be here. Without it, I mean, I hold a lot of it in high regard because it woke me out of certain ways. But we were smart enough to not close our mind to those personalities and to keep following the truth. So I don't think I would have found David Icke if it wasn't for Alex Jones. And then if it wasn't for David Icke, I wouldn't have found 10 million other fucking people because all of a sudden I started from him finding all the researchers, So, it's but like you said, though, it can burn us out. And, sometimes I'm sure you have felt, and so have I, that we've been wasting our time, but that goes away. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel that you're wasting your time in a general sense. I think we get burned out, but in reality, if you're not speaking your mind and putting that stuff out there, it can't be read. It can't be heard. So, I don't find it to be a waste of time at all.
Thanks.
Well, if anything, we're alerting the jerk off algorithms that, we're not going to take it. You're not going to take it. I'm not going to take it. And maybe a whole bunch of people are doing that and they're going, whoa, that's a lot of people that ain't going to take it. Like, but if we didn't say anything, that's why I don't care about, all the little shit they put under my videos about COVID. Like, I was honored the first time. I'm like, ooh, I got a little footnote to explain, what Google says about COVID on my fucking thing, because God forbid you say those words. I don't censor myself. If it comes out, it comes out. And I guess when it comes out, they put that fucking thing under there, I don't know. I'm like, wow, what I'm saying is true enough that they gotta put their lie up under my video. I'm honored. Thank you. That's how I look at it. Fuck it. Fuck them. I can't dwell in the negative, but I still fight with it, because I get more sad over the people that aren't caring that their freedoms are being taken, that are willing to cheer on, oh, thank goodness they're breaking up that group of people in the park. What? You know what I mean? What do you mean? Taking their freedoms away and their right to assemble and be free and frolic in the park and smell the sunshine and hang out together? You thank God? I'm sorry. I just, and when I hear those kind of things or those kind of videos or I see those kind of, I get like, Jesus, God, But I hope it's, I hope it's a psyop when it comes to the computer aspect of what you see and on the news and the propaganda. But I hear it in real life. That's the problem. You know what I mean? And that's when I'm like, well, that's not a paid crisis actor to say that shit. You know what I mean? Or a completely, 25-year-old kid. That's someone in, my life that's saying it, that I know or an acquaintance or it's been said in my presence. And that's when I'm like, oh my God, how, could one get into that mindset? How could one let themselves get so fearful to get into that mindset? That you want to see people be harmed for being free.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, especially kind of being dropped on the head.
Yeah, that's where my anger and depression sits. Like these assholes are supposed to be assholes. That's what they do. You know what I mean? They don't shock me at all. They're complete psychopath maniacs doing this, and at the top levels, you know what I mean, and the puppet levels, and unfortunately at the uniform levels too, if these guys don't wake the fuck up, guys and gals, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters. Come on, guys, wake up. Lovers, right, husbands, wives, you got kids. I mean, be the courageous, protector of freedom that you say you are and stand up for the Constitution and say no to this bullshit. That would be a true hero and a true patriot and a true soldier. True protector of what is right, So whatever uniform you're in, if you do that, it might catch, because I'm sure a lot of them, Not a lot like my day. I'm sure there's quite a bit that are loving enforcing this stuff. But I can't. I know it's changed. But you never know. Because most of them guys are probably going to be in fear mode too. They'll be terrified. So if they can get, maybe the right thing to happen and then follow that, they just need enough people to do what's going on in small pockets. We're not enforcing the lockdown. We're not enforcing, if this guy wants to fucking buy whatever he wants from Walmart and Walmart says no. Because I'll tell you what, Lisa, that's who I do notice are the real pricks, are the people that work in these fucking stores. I told the story on my podcast today. My daughter's boyfriend went into a store with his buddy, and his buddy didn't have a mask, but what he's been doing is just covering his face, and that's all they really want you to do, is covering his face with the sweat jacket or whatever. So this crazy lady comes chasing after him and taps him on the shoulder. Now, if she's terrified of COVID, there's the 6 feet violation. She's putting her fingers and touching him, tapping him on the shoulder, and telling him, you can't come in here without a mask. Now, what fucking sense does that make, that you're going to come within this space of this person who doesn't have a mask on? You're supposed to be terrified, and you're going to put your hands on him? But they're not. That fear goes out the window. I get to go tell somebody what to do,
Ooh, yeah.
And oh my God, and to those people, all I can say to you is go fuck yourselves, you fucking little babies, because I've run into them myself in my travels, and they're little fucking sniveling baby shit fucks, and I hope anyone that I know
Yes.
hears me say that, because
Well, I haven't been recording it, so.
Oh, actually, I have. So I did.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would have to cut out the whole beginning when we were talking private stuff if we do post it, but
Yeah.
we got.
No, that's cool.
We
But yeah,
got a pretty
keep
good
on.
chunk.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Keep on swearing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because
No, it's okay.
I've
You're
had to
right,
hold
you're
that
right.
back since because it similarly happened to me when I was not doing it in the beginning, and it just. Like, these are the teacher, you forgot to give homework, Mary fell asleep, you know what I mean? Like this baby fucking mentality that normal people run away from after they get out of school. These little people have stayed in it, and they've, in their corporate little worlds, and now they get to tell fucking people what to do, That's where I see, like the line spacers and the people in these stores where they're, you can't grab this cart, this isn't clean. Like, they're just loving it, all you people are mental patients, and you need serious psychiatric help. Meds are okay for you. I know they're bad for people, but for you, they're okay. Because you're that fucked up that I don't think spiritual healing will work. I'm just obviously kidding, but I'm venting,
That's okay.
because, and like I said, I'm sure there's uniforms doing the same thing. Like I said, I've seen it. Brian from High Impact Vlogs showed, that pastor earlier today who was being told by uniforms, if you have the service, we're going to give citations to everybody. He's like, fine, do whatever, but then this guy had to go on, your rights are suspended, and I love the pastor. He's like, what? That's what you got to do. Challenge these guys. No one has a right to suspend our rights. I don't give a shit what's going on. I don't care if the Kraken has been set loose, and he's fucking picking people up out of their houses. You don't get my rights for that. You know what I mean? Sorry, bitches. You know what I mean? You need to put on your little dresses, go have your little powder puff parties like you dark occultists do, and do all your dumb, stupid shit where you're like little girls and stuff like we see in JFK. You know what I mean? Go have those parties, and then go and do your worshiping shit and figure something else out, because you ain't getting my, I hopefully many people, but you ain't getting mine. You're not getting mine. I don't care, nothing is worth it, because this is your soul we're talking about. This isn't just a physical experience. This is a war for your soul, man. You know that. And sorry, I don't care if I'm the only one standing up in a world of 7 billion people. Whatever happens, happens. This is asinine, and you don't get to win over me. I can't choose everybody else's actions. I can only hope to encourage others to do the right thing. But I know for a fact I ain't doing it. And the line will be drawn. It'll come. They're going to force people to get this, and they're not going to come maybe drag me out of my house to do it, but they won't let me buy food.
Yeah, stuff we kind of need.
Yeah, you sort of need that shit, They've been spending all this time privatizing water, and now they own all the fucking food. They're nationalizing everything and bailing out all the industries and picking which companies are going to win. And they're going to control all that distribution. It's called fascism and socialism, and that's what's happening here. And they're just going to starve me to death. That's all. They don't give a shit. That's what they do in all the other countries. Iran and Syria, all the sanctions they put on people, just starve people. That's all they do, So,
yeah, there's oh gosh, it's in the goodness sakes, is it like in the 30s? Hold a second. I think it's in the Hello, hold a second. Hello. In the 1930s. It's called the Holodomor. The Holodomor was a man-made famine in Soviet Ukraine in 1932 and 1933 that killed millions of Ukrainians.
Mm-hmm.
So it is also known as the Terror Famine and the Famine Genocide in Ukraine, and is sometimes referred to as the Great Famine or the Ukrainian Genocide of 1932 to 1933. So
yeah, I mean.
And this is from the good old buddy and pal and comrade Joseph Stalin.
Yeah.
So,
this is the modus operandi of these people, and nothing has changed, and it's insane to me that people, like you said, you can look at Stalin, you can look at Hitler, you can look at so many different regimes all the way back to the Roman fucking Empire to see this. It's crazy. The same exact thing, same exact ways done to the people. And, literally, we're about to maybe, incur biblical times of where people, were stoned for, being this, or stoned in the streets for, blasphemy, where, people are going to want to see you drug off to fucking jail or a camp because you don't have a vaccine, and they won't care. It's the same thing, same mentality,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is I'm looking at an article from the New Republic about about a book about that called it's by Anne Applebaum, Red Famine: Stalin's War on Ukraine, and here's a paragraph. Collectivization of the farmlands of Ukraine began in 1929. Stalin wanted the country with its hugely fertile black soil to be the breadbasket of the Soviet Union. He wanted to feed the important party officials and export its grain abroad to fund his vast industrialization projects. It was an unmitigated disaster. Farmers were no longer paid for their produce, but worked according to a ration system based on their productivity. In reality, it made them beholden to the party, which controlled their finances, was able to control all aspects of their lives, and they were no longer able to buy food.
Yeah, it's a good thing that's not happening here exactly to the fucking letter. You know what I mean? What you just said is scarily, equally what's going on here. And
yeah.
With a twist of Hitler National Socialism and a twist of McCarthyism, and you know what I mean? It's all of it,
Yeah, and they quote from the book, and I know this is going to get a little bit I'll just keep on going. And it's quoting from the book by Applebaum, and she says, the starvation of the human body, once it begins, always follows the same course. In the first phase, the body consumes its stores of glucose. Feelings of extreme hunger set in. In the second phase, which can last several weeks, the body begins to consume its own fats, and the organism weakens drastically. In the third phase, the body devours its own proteins, cannibalizing tissues and muscles. Eventually, the skin becomes thin, the eyes distended, the legs and belly swollen, as extreme imbalances lead the body to retain water. Small amounts of effort lead to exhaustion. Along the way, different kinds of diseases can hasten death. Scurvy, KWASHIORKOR. Good
luck with that one. Yeah. Good luck with that one.
Marasmus, MARASMUS, pneumonia, typhus, diphtheria, and a wide range of infections and skin diseases caused directly or indirectly by lack of food. There you go.
Yeah, it is a weapon of this cult. They love controlling the food and starving out the population because, it's that dependency that's going to get people to choose them ultimately, and that's why it's so important for people to realize this now, because if all of a sudden we get to the point where everybody's fucking starving, they're not going to give a shit about freedom. They're not going to care. I mean, already the fact that people will wait in line by the hundreds, like I won't do that. I'd rather fucking lay in the street and starve to death. I'm not fucking doing that. And I know people go, oh, you'll do it when you're starving. I am a very stubborn motherfucker,
Yeah.
Ask my wife, you know what I mean? I can say that to my wife and she looks at me and goes, I fucking know you will, because I'm there's so much that can come from this if we unite together in a positive way, and to just choose the other way out of, well, that's how it's got to be, and I have to eat if I don't. Like, that's just, I mean, it's the complete antithesis of what we need to do. So what would I do? Go, you know what? Well, we have to eat, and we'll take their rations, and they're like, I can't live like that. That's not life, So, again, whatever the consequences are for that are the consequences, because, and starving my kids and all that shit. Sorry, I know we're all eternal souls, motherfucker. Sorry, you know what I mean? Not going to work. I'd rather my kids not go through, your hell and choose properly. And whatever that is, whatever the consequences are for them, I'm more comfortable with that than, oh, well, I got to get my kids food and do whatever I need to do to, sorry, it's just not my mindset, I don't know, and we can all say, well, wait till it all sets in. I've been through too much hell in my life, and too much self-reflection and, depression and all these things to come out of the states that I was in before to attain my understanding now, to go and give it all up. Because what, somebody wants to own me. Nah, no.
I'll pass on that.
Yeah, sorry. You don't own me, and whatever happens, happens. And again, I trust in what happens. I walk with the truth. Truth won't steer me wrong. It might suck, whatever happens, but only for, what I mean? Whatever, only for this experience. I think it'll suck more for the people that don't do anything, and take the consequences of staying quiet. Because not only on a soul level, man, but here, you're talking George Orwell times 1,000, man. Doesn't look fun, Lisa. Sorry.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, what have you really got to lose anymore, They're going to take everything anyway. They don't want private property. They don't want people in houses. They don't want people having more money. They want to control it all. I mean, this is what they're going to do, So, actually,
yes.
My wife is calling me, and I realize she's on her way home, and my son wanted these back at 8:00. See, I was going to didn't even think to look at the time. I was just going to sit and rap. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on a fucking time limit here. I got to go. So, well, tell Sarah I missed her, and maybe we can have a conversation, off air or something, just to say hi.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah, or do this again, whatever.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So
okay. Well,
you have her number, right? You have.
I have her email. I think she's got my number. I don't know unless she texted me and I deleted it.
I will send you her number. So.
Thank you. I appreciate
You're welcome.
it. So, all right, well,
Which
Lisa,
I will not reveal here.
No, because I'm gonna cut out the beginning and I'll post a good chunk of what we talked about. So.
Oh, that's perfectly okay with me. Thank you.
All righty. Well, you have a good weekend, Lisa. It was a pleasure. I missed you. I missed Sarah. This was good.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Yes, please.
So, okay. I'll see you.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.